I don't know what it was about the 80s, but people were really into the devil.
You, watching this at home, worship me.
Maybe it was the music. Maybe it was the television.
The Geraldo Rivera Special. Devil worship.
Maybe it was even the toys.
This could actually be taken from Revelation.
One thing is for sure, parents were seeing the face of Satan everywhere, and us Gen X kids weren't happy about it. Even our games were under attack.
Dungeons and Dragons is a real serious problem.
Then, just when we thought it couldn't get any worse, a young Tom Hanks came along and threw every nerd in the world under the bus. It was 1982. For a lot of young folks like me, Dungeons and Dragons was the only thing we had going for us. My friends were getting into it, and I had been trying to convince my mom for weeks to get me the starter books for my birthday. When Tom freaking Hanks came along and set my quest back an entire year. I don't want you to go crazy like in that Mazes and Monsters movie with that nice young man, my mom said. Erg. Dungeons and Dragons debuted in 1974 and quickly gained popularity. But along with that popularity came newfound scrutiny. Religious groups in the 1980s claimed that the game's use of demons and other supernatural creatures was a way of introducing young people to occult practices. The artwork made Dungeons and Dragons an easy target for these groups, and they latched onto it as one of the many examples of Satan's influence on the youth. News outlets sensationalized stories and rumors of satanic cults infiltrated towns all across America, often linking things like rock music and Dungeons and Dragons to real-life incidents of crime.
I killed somebody.
These reports added fuel to the fire, intensifying the public's concern. As the panic escalated, it found its way into popular culture. In 1982, a made-for-TV movie called Mazes and Monsters.
Mazes and Monsters is a far-out game. Swords, poison, spells.
Starring Tom freaking Hanks.
I am Pardieu, the holy man.
Hanks plays a troubled college student named Robbie Wheeling. He and his group of troubled college friends start playing a role-playing game called Mazes and Monsters.
Mazes and Monsters is a far-out game.
Robbie, Hanks, gets so into it that he loses touch with reality, thinks he's his character, starts casting spells, the whole 9 yards. He ends up eventually stabbing a mugger, thinking he's a monster. Finally, his friends talk to him and they talk him back to reality, and the movie ends and everybody's happy.
Game.
TJ, what am I doing here?
No, that's not how the movie ends. In the end, we find out he's back living with his parents, who he calls the innkeeper and his wife, implying that Robbie Wheeling will be stuck in his fantasy world for the rest of his miserable upper middle class life. No wonder my mom didn't want me to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Mazes and Monsters is a far-out game.
At least she wasn't as against it as Patricia Puling, who founded BADD, B-A-D-D, Bothered About Dungeons and Dragons.
The reason they are bothered is because they believe the game has been involved in a number of murders.
A group dedicated to eradicating the world of the evils of D&D and other such games. In the end, Mazes and Monsters might have made the general public uneasy about Dungeons and Dragons, but it only helped its popularity among its target audience. The Dungeons and Dragons basic set went from selling about 5,000 copies a month to over 30,000, and it only continued to grow from there. Please hit like and subscribe. Thank you.